What is people? We are Tottenham TV. Frank is finally here. Let the train leave the station. Two people. The manager's here and he he suits it, doesn't it? He definitely suits the tracksuit, suits the badge, and all the media duties have been done. And it's great to see. And he comes across really well, doesn't he, Brian?
Let's talk about Frank, baby. Oh, mate, listen, I am even more pumped than I thought I was before. All of it's dropped. The man is a class act. The man is a class act. I have face ache again from smiling so much. It's what we've all been waiting for, wasn't it? And it came, and it didn't. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you kind of called this. You said, well. Yesterday on the stream, you said, is this just the prelude, the Daniel Levy interview to a Thomas Frank, not announcement, but media duties and interview to be done? And that's exactly what has happened today. And look, let's go and see how Spurs did announce it today. 1 second. Let me add this to the stream. So this is what they said. So about 2 hours ago, they just posted up this picture with Frank looking dead into the camera saying he's here. He most definitely is. He's here and he's beautiful. And then a few minutes later, welcome to Tottenham Hotspur, Thomas Frank. Means business, doesn't he, Brian?
He does. I think he's trying to give off his funds from Happy Days look. But yeah, they were waiting to release this, and he does look super confident. Like you said, he does suit the badge. He means business, and it's go time. It's go time.
And there's him holding up the shirt. Our new head coach, Thomas Frank. And you can tell just like he's really excited to be here. He's proud to be here. And we'll get into what he was saying in his interview, but it was one of the most perfect introduction interviews that I can remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it was, and like I said, we're going to look into it. I think it was a flawless interview. Paid respect to Ange, spoke about the club, spoke about a lot of things. And I'm trying to remember, I remember Jose's first interview being a pretty special one, pun intended. But it was a very extensive one. I also was saying that I literally thought that with all the research that I'd done and watched him for 2 years, wanting him, and then all these people were diving into watching the high performance podcast. It was like, okay, I'm getting it now. And there's a lot of people that probably didn't watch it for whatever reason, but we knew that once they hear him speak, they might have a change of how they're feeling about him. And you can see it across social media that a lot of people are now like, oh my God, here we go.
I think everyone's just going to fall head over heels for this guy. I really do. Not just the fan base, but I think the players will as well. Like, he just speaks so well. He's just got such a warm aura about him. Top man, he seems a real top man. And I think from what he's shown so far, he's a top manager as well.
Correct. That's the thing. On the pitch, he's brilliant. Obviously, he's been at Brentford, so he hasn't been able to reach for the stars or have like Europe as a genuine target. Well, he has got that now. And those words were just very, very refreshing. A lot of people said, remind me a bit of Poch. You can even link it to a bit of Harry Redknapp with the man management. It's taken the elements of a lot of managers that we've all adored and put it in one package in Thomas Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it. A 9-minute interview. We're going to take it bit by bit and see what we take from it. I think there is quite a bit to take because he spoke about a whole range of things, from the alignment with the board and V9 Lange, style of play, the need for hard work, talking about the fans as well, the stadium, building on Ange's work, which I thought was really interesting. And there's one comment in there which we'll get to, but it's about him saying the team are winners. It's about making them serial winners now. And that's what it's all about, isn't it, Brian?
Correct. Absolutely spot on. And it's great, like we said, when we get to that part, how he acknowledged, even said standing on, we'll get to it before we start giving spoilers for people that haven't seen it.
All right, let's get into it. when you want to make a comment, just say
Yep,
say
we'll do.
and I'll stop it.
The feeling of being new head coach is extraordinary. Really looking forward to this massive challenge together with a lot of good people. I only heard good stuff about all the people here, the training ground, the players, good squads, exciting, massive club. I think massive potential. So just super excited. I think as probably every boy or girl, I just love to play football when I was running around in my hometown. Probably pretty soon found out that I was never going to be a professional football player. So now and then I just started early coaching when I was 20 years old, and then I've been coaching for 30 plus years. First grassroots level, academy football. Went into my first senior head coach job at Brøndby. It's a massive club in Denmark. Went to England on a journey, first as assistant manager and then the head coach, and had an unbelievable journey in Brentford. A fantastic time with fantastic staff, players, and fans. They've done a very, very good process. I would say Daniel Levy and Vinay and Johan Lange have had.
YouTube and their ads. YouTube and their ads. A good time to stop it anyway. With started talking about Vinay and Levy, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, when you saw him in the clips of him around the training center and all that, you had to think about like, wow,
yeah,
we didn't have this at Brentford, did we?
Not only did he like that, and I have said from all the people that said all this player backlash and everything, James Maddison looked really disappointed to see him, didn't he? A nice warm embrace. I think Levy and Vinay deserve credit for bringing him in. It's a man I've wanted to come in. And like I said, they've got the man in. It's now letting him do what he does, and that's coach a football team. But like you said, he has come in, and just that training ground alone probably is 3-4 times the size of Brentford.
It's probably the size, the stadium in the training ground, or the pitch is probably 3 times the size of Brentford's pitch.
And he just looks, and you know what? He deserves to be where he is now. He deserves to be where he is and given this opportunity. You can see the excitement in him. And I think what a lot of people are taken from it as well is how clearly he speaks, how calmly he speaks. And you just believe what he's saying, don't you?
It just feels like the right moment, the right fit, the right man. And you can just tell the way he's speaking. He's just so delighted to be here. He really is. But let's crack on with what else he was saying.
Let's do it.
Conversations and meetings with them where we discussed everything in depth, details about the club structure, processes. And of course, I came with my view on things and how I saw it and my ideas and the way I want to do things and how I try to build a team and a club. And of course, it's not me. I think it's very important to say, yes, the head coach is an important person, but if I don't have good people around me, it's impossible. You can't do anything alone, in my opinion. If you want to do something quick, you can go alone. If you want to do something big or achieve something big, you go together. So it's definitely a thing about doing things together, me, staff, players.
So he's been very, vocal on that kind of situation for a long time in terms of being very much aligned with the board, only working under a good structure. We know that the hierarchy at Spurs have burnt many a manager over the time. What is it you think Frank sees within our structure where he thinks he can flourish?
I think where he can flourish, and this is the bit where I think people have got they're saying that a lot of fans, fair play to them, are saying he's coming because Levy knows he works on a budget. He can work within that. And yes, that may be very, very true. But I think we've got to realise is the budget he's going to have at Tottenham Hotspur compared to the budget he had at Brentford is going to be like a bounty to him. Also, the players that he's tried to entice to Brentford, i.e. a man that you really want in Bakayoko. He really wanted at Brentford, but because of the size of the club, could not entice him and could not get him out of PSV, where he's got Champions League football, going for league titles. I think, like I said, I personally think that he's going to outlive Levy at Tottenham. So I think things will change within the time. Not saying it's going to happen instantly, but I think what he's got at Tottenham and the pool he's got, he can now attract players he's probably dreamt of at Brentford that he hasn't been able to get through the door for obvious reasons, and he will be able to get them through at Tottenham.
But what I'm saying is like, yeah, I get all that. But what I'm saying is like, we've all, me, you, plenty of other people have criticised the board and they're not fit for purpose and not fit to drive success at this football club. But he clearly feels like they are, and he clearly feels like they are good fit because he's made it so clear that he's not going to leave Brentford unless there's a really good project to go and work with.
Yeah, no, I can get that. But like we said, I think things are changing at Tottenham. I genuinely think things are changing. Might take a bit of time, but obviously you got the fresh blood of Vinay in, who's obviously seeing things different, and you can see what he's implementing straight away as in fan engagement and other things. I just think at board level, there is going to be a difference at Spurs moving forward. And I think Thomas Frank has bought into that.
Like many other managers have over
yeah, but they've had to deal with Cullen. They've had to deal with this. Whether people think Levy's going, staying, or whatever's going on, there is a change of direction or a change of thought process within the club at board level right now, because two big players have gone and two have come in Charrington and Vinay.
All right, look, that's the last we're going to speak about Levy. This is all about
Frank Day. It's Frank Day 2. It's the sequel. It's the sequel.
Let's keep going.
I think the alignment is key from top to bottom, and of course it starts from Daniel and Vinay and Johan and me, and the more the four of us can be aligned, just like a unit and like an unbreakable unit. The stronger we will be, and there'll be ups and downs. I think it's right now it's a fairy tale. Everyone is happy, the sun is shining, it's fantastic, but we haven't played one game yet. Hopefully we win a lot. We'll work very hard every single day to make sure we create as many magic moments for the fans and put them together, and hopefully in the end of the season it'll be a very good season. But the alignment in terms of structure, processes, transfers, squad, playing style, culture, all that is key. I think in terms of my style of play, I'll explain it a little bit now, but I rather wanna, how can you say, show it. You can talk a lot, but I think it's more what we show, what we try to do. But in few words, the intention is to play aggressive, front-footed football. And I know the ethos and the history of the club is massive on attacking football, and I think there's so much attacking talent in the squad. I'm very excited about that. They've clearly shown over the last 2 seasons that the ability to score goals is fantastic, and I'm very, very in on that. I love a team that is scoring goals. Very, very big on principles. What we do on the final third in terms of creating chances, crosses, spring balls in the box, play behind and stuff like that. I think it's key. So just want to build on that attacking football we already have here in the club. I'm a big.
So I think that's really important. Really important what he's saying about attacking football, front foot, aggressive. Because I think a lot of people's reservations about Frank at the beginning was, look at Brentford, they sit low block a lot of times, 3 at the back, fairly defensive. But I was always saying, like, his number one priority, if he can, is to play front foot, aggressive football and attacking football. I know Brentford, scored one of the most goals this season in the Premier League, but they had to find other ways to win because of the club that they are, the resources that they do have. I think it's really important what Frank's saying there. He gets what the ethos of the club is, and he buys into that ethos, and it's his ethos as well.
Ben, you're stealing all my content here. You're stealing. It's your chat, but you're right. You're right. Obviously, a lot of the talk about it with him coming as it's to be boring football. It's going to be it's just going to be the same. There's not going to be any excitement or whatever. But he hasn't always had the players to be able to do it, or he's always, a lot of the times, gone in as the inferior team, out but in standing where he's going to have to protect his team to stop them getting a defeat and try and do what's best for them. Now he's to be at a team where he can do more aggressive. And as you said, at one point, they were the highest scorers in the Premier League. They were the most informed team at home in the Premier League. They, like you said, I think they scored the 5th or 6th amount best attack in the. All this points to attacking football, which is what we want to play and what we want to see. And a lot of people that were criticising, saying we're going to go backwards from Ange, who was an attacking manager. We've got one that does want to play that football, and now we'll have more opportunity to play that way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all about, you know, you look at all the teams that have been successful at Tottenham Hotspur. They've all been front foot, attacking, exciting to watch. So I think it's really important. We all saw under Conte and under Mourinho, like we were 4th in the league under Conte, and people just like, look, this is boring. We need to move on from this guy. We need to get back to what Spurs fans know, Spurs fans love, and Spurs fans crave, and that is exciting, swashbuckling, attacking football.
There you go.
That's what it's going to bring.
There you go. And hopefully it'll be a little bit more organised.
Yeah.
Allow 100%. Those players to do what they do. Because obviously we had issues with midfield and defence being left exposed. That will be taken away this in a Frank system. So it should be more potent up front because they can do more up there, knowing that the defence is sorted and midfield.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Big believer. I always say this one-liner: if you don't take risk, you also take risk. So I think it's important that we take risk. And risk is, for example, if we play man-man in some situations, risk is you need to play forward. If you don't risk the ball, you can't create anything. So I'm a big believer of that. We need to be brave. The players need to be brave when we play, and they need to trust themselves. So I will do my very best to install that trust, and the players need to be brave. For me, if they lose the ball by trying, it's never a problem for me. Of course, I can react. It's natural, but they need to do that. But if they don't work hard, that I struggle more with that. So if they do everything they can and they lose the ball or they try, no problem. But it's more if they don't work hard, that's my non-negotiable. But we need to take risk. Of course, if we don't take risk, it's impossible to achieve something big. I think it's very.
There's Kulu, when I was saying to you earlier.
Oh yeah, that's right. Kulu, Madders. There's Richie. Is that Richie in the background as well?
I think so. With that hair, I think so.
But yeah, he's absolutely spot on in what he's saying about risk. If you don't take risk, you're never really going to achieve anything. And I liked what he said about even if you don't take risk, you are taking a risk.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, it is true. But he finds the right words to say, doesn't he?
That's a key element of it, isn't it? We've had it before with managers that can deliver things like this, but it's refreshing to hear it in a different way. And like I said, it's like when they say you don't know what you don't know, not taking risk. And this is what people are wanting to hear. And thankfully, we are hearing it. And it's in Spurs colours. So a lot more people will obviously watch it now and see it and start to enjoy becoming Frankaholics.
Mm. People saying in the comments that those training footage was from last season, but I don't know.
That part, I mean, obviously the Madison inside the training ground was obviously, it could be. It could be.
Let's keep going.
Very talented squad. I think it's a very good squad. Very excited about starting working with them. And of course, when you follow Premier League, you see the other teams. Of course, I've seen Tottenham. I've seen some fantastic performances from the team over the last years, and I'm very excited about that. So I think there's big potential in it. But of course, I'm looking for the outside. So I'm looking forward to get to know them, to be around them, to feel them, to understand them, to work with them on a training pitch, and that's where you really get the big understanding and understand the relationships between players and how you can get the best out of them. Of course, I got an idea already. You know, my head is spinning. How can we play? How can we put them together and all that? But yeah, looking forward to that. When I say talented, it's also it's not only the young players. It's also some of the more experienced players. How can we get the best out of them? Let's say Dominic Solanke. I'm a big fan of him in terms of his abilities. I'm sure we'll make him score a lot of goals. How can we play? Bentancur, Madison. These. How can we get that? But of course, the younger ones as well. I think it's all players that we need to develop and make perform on the highest level. But of course, Bergwell, Archie Gray, Odegaard, Udogie, all of them, I think have a high ceiling. There's others I haven't mentioned. I mentioned the whole squad, and I'm looking forward to it. It's always about.
So, has he dropped a bit of a insight into transfer business and transfer dealings this summer? Because he mentions Bentancur.
Yeah.
Bentancur hasn't signed that contract. Do you think that means he's staying?
You'd have thought so, because certain players came to his mind. I mean, I'm delighted to hear what he said about Solanke, first of all. Again, if people have watched videos or haven't, he will get a lot more goals from Solanke, because he will have him playing up top. He will be getting crosses into him. I think I saw in the chat earlier, I can't remember who said it, said, right, you mentioned Solanke, we need to get a winger in that can cross the football into him and get him the service he needs. I think with him saying Bentancur, I think it's a huge indication that he's going to stay.
Yeah, I like the name dropping. It's interesting that he did mention Solanke, mention Bentancur, he mentioned Madison as well, right?
Yeah, they're the three he mentioned.
But no Son.
No Son, no Richie, no Romero.
But Son's the club captain, right? Son's like the figurehead of the team. You would have expected him. Maybe he just didn't mention him. Maybe we're reading too much into it.
Yep.
Do you think there is something to read into that?
I don't know. I think Sonny, with all the, I think people will jump on that now, won't they? Because of all the rumours coming out. And it's right. That is something you got to think of. Is it 2 + 2 = 4? But he's obviously mentioned three players. I think more to the point, I think he's mentioned three players that are definitely staying and that he sees definitely in the future. And I think he gets the best out of Madison as well. I think Madison's going to be so much freer in his position this season that we see a different James Madison.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the difference between Ange and a Frank, Ange kind of tries to get the players to fit into his system. Frank is going to get the best out of each players and build a system that works for them. And
exactly.
I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, to be honest. And I think he'll get the best out of the majority of them. Yeah,
and like I said, at Brentford, he used 9 different formations from the Championship to here. So obviously with Ange, he had the main one. He did adapt in certain games and change. There was flexibility there. But I don't think there's many managers that have the tactical fluidity in changing systems like Thomas Frank.
Yeah, what's your opinion on, you mentioned the young players having a high ceiling. Archie Gray, he mentioned in there. Obviously, he did try and buy Archie Gray for Brentford. How involved do you think he'll be next season, and what role is he going to play?
What, Archie Gray, or are we talking about Frank with the youngsters?
Archie specifically.
Archie Gray, obviously we've mentioned, as discussed, he really does like him and wanted him at Brentford and tries to pull out all the stops to get him. It's whether he sees that he needs another 6 with him in place too, whether he sees that he wants Archie to stay here and learn from whoever comes in, or learn under Frank and play what he was going to play him there. I think what it comes down to as well, what we've got to look at, we all know we need a number 6. We all know that's the position. But it comes to the point now, I'm thinking, does he want a number 6, let's say like a Victor Wanyama? There's an absolute machine with power and just sheer strength. Or does he want a Michael Carrick, a ball-playing, dictating, sitting deep midfielder? Maybe he wants both.
I think the latter.
And if it's the latter, could that be Archie Gray?
I mean, it could be. But is he ready to do it right here, right now, next season?
If we were to start the season, I would want and hope there was another 6 that could do that is more established, but then keeping Archie to work alongside him and playing him where he needs. Because it's all going to be about rotation with the Champions League, isn't it? And 4 competitions. We are going to need to rotate and hope we don't have the injury nightmare we went through this season, and hopefully reshuffling and being able to play different systems and use the players accordingly will benefit that. And maybe Archie Gray does the best with that.
But you can really tell with the way he's mentioning the players, the youngsters, and also the first teamers. He is just chomping at the bits to get these guys on the training ground and start working already, isn't he?
But that's the thing. What I loved about him is you could see how eager he is to get on that training pitch. And Thomas Frank will be on that training pitch Monday to Friday, and he will be very, very close with every. That's the term I was using. And then when we mentioned the youngsters again, Justin Cochrane, who has worked with them and will develop. That's a key asset.
Yeah,
that Thomas Frank has brought with him for the youngsters.
Agreed. Let's keep this one moving. Next up,
Oh,
bloody advert.
Have a look at this. I've just checked to see if we were affected by that.
How have you not got premium?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. All right.
On a Tuesday, and then a Saturday, and then on a Wednesday. But it's also about develop the individual player, and that's me and my staff, and the player. So how we work together about that on a day-to-day basis. Because if we lift the players' performance or develop them, the team will grow, perform better, hopefully opportunities to win more matches. First and foremost, I think it's a fantastic fan base. I think the fans is the most important ones. It's the team, staff, me, all of us. How can we make sure we create enough magic moments with the fans? Make moments they remember. They can get hopefully excited about. It's about that, and also that we go on a journey together. And on a journey, there'll be ups and downs, and it's how we get through these ups and downs together. But of course, the connection from the team to the fans, from me to the fans, is going to be crucial. And a very important thing is to make our home Tottenham Hotspur's stadium like a fortress, and that can only be the fans and us as a team together. So that needs to be an ongoing relationship, ongoing how can you say, situation we need to build, because I want our home to be very, very difficult to come to, and that we can only do together.
So he talks about the fans being the most important bit.
Yeah,
and that is music to all our ears, because I think Ange did value the fans, even though he had his run-ins with them occasionally and cup in the ear and what have you when it was going wrong. But I do feel like at this club, a lot over the last 20 years, that's been lost. That's been lost a lot in the messaging from this club. So I'm glad that Frank has brought that up.
Yeah, to be fair, I think all managers bring that up at the beginning, don't they? When they do that, let's be fair to all the other managers that have gone by. But it's just the manner that he addresses them and says, I want to bring these special moments back. I want to make it a fortress. I want to give back to them. Listen, it's what we all want to hear, whether you agree with this appointment or not. And he just speaks so passionately about it. And listen, there's someone in the chat that I do my show with, to Frank or not to Frank. He was not fully on board. He's been watching that video. He's been swayed. He's the power of Frank. The power of Frank.
By the power of Frankish.
Exactly.
Yeah, in terms of making that stadium a fortress, he's right. It's not just down to him and the way the team played. The fans do have a massive part to play in that as well. Massive. And you saw when it was going well in the first 10 games of last season, or the first year, that the fans really lifted that team. And how many last-minute goals did we get off the back of that?
Yep. I mean, yeah. You mentioned that. I mean, I remember, like I said, going to Burnley away with you, which was like his third or fourth Premier League game. I'd never seen an away end like that so early in a manager's tenure. Obviously, some of the home games, like the Sheffield United, Liverpool, even though the game wasn't brilliant, but the result was, it was insane. And then you look at it when we talk fortress, we're talking last season of Poch, aren't we? Last season of the Lane, with Poch. Yeah. That's when it was a fortress. Yeah. But let's hope now it turns into one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, he talks about ups and downs, and there will be ups and downs. Yep. It's not going to be a straight line of progression, but it's up to the fans. And I know people are going to say, oh, yeah, but you turned on Ange, but we need to stick with this.
Yeah. Yep. Like people, I won't turn my back. I didn't feel right turning my back on Ange, but I did because it was the first time I ever did. And and obviously what will be with that. But this man is what exactly, Joe, it ticks all the boxes for Spurs. Whether you want to look at, does it suit Levy and what Levy wants to do? Does it suit Spurs with what they want to do as a club? Does it suit the fans with wanting different football, wanting different formations, different styles of play? It ticks all the boxes.
Yeah. Let's keep going. About a minute and a half left.
Huge congratulations to the club, to the team. Huge congratulations to Ange. So he forever be a legend in Tottenham, and congratulations to him for that. I think it's very important to understand that we all stand on the shoulders of others. So I'm going in on the foundation that Ange have built and his coaching staff, and I'm very humble about that. And I'll do my very best to continue the great work you've put in. But the feeling and the excitement and the joy and the happiness you could see in the fans' face and the pictures you saw was wow. So hopefully we can create more of those moments. That will be the ultimate dream, to do that and build on that. And they, hey.
I think that was probably my most favorite part of the interview. I think it's so classy from Frank to speak about Ange in that manner, saying he's going to build on the great work that Ange did. And look, he finished 17th, but I do think that he laid some really good foundations in. Spurs were a complete mess when he took over, losing Harry Kane, didn't know who they were in terms of a philosophy, going from philosophy defensive to attacking to defensive to attacking. Ange came in. Yes, he finished 5th in his first season, finished 17th in his second. He did win that trophy, but you could see that he built kind of a togetherness within that squad. And whatever you want to say about if you think it was a success all in all or not, I do think he laid some really good foundations for us.
He did, and obviously the club had done it as well with getting rid of a lot of the deadwood in the prior seasons. Obviously, wages down with big players off. But like you said, not only did he pay homage to Ange, saying congratulations, whether you loved him or not, Ange Postecoglou is a legend of this football club.
100%.
I won't have it any other way. If people say, "Oh no, he's not. He got lucky with the cup." He's a legend. He won a trophy at this football club, and for him to go on and say that as well, just shows how much class this man has. And when he also mentions, like I said before, and I do guess when he says standing on the shoulders of others, it's a brilliant quote.
Yeah,
it's a brilliant quote, and it's just the perfect way to sign off that first interview, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's still one more quote, which is also an unbelievable quote from him, which we'll just touch on now.
No one can say they're not winners. The team and the players are winners. Now we need to do best see if we can become serial winners in the future.
So, has there ever been a manager that has been able to say that coming into Spurs? There's not.
There hasn't been.
That's thanks to Ange Postecoglou.
Yep. They're literally. Yep, you're right. And what again? It is that now it's to become serial winners. And normally when teams win a trophy, other teams do tend to get the taste for it, and it becomes a regular occurrence. Hopefully, our regular occurrences don't come once every 17 years, and they come very, very soon. But I believe this man can do it.
Yeah. Is he under any pressure this season to deliver?
It depends what you call deliver. I said for me, progression for the first season, getting everything set in stone. And obviously, it's 2 windows. Every manager we say they need 4 windows. Whether they get them or not is another thing. But I said whether it had been Ange, whether it had been Xavi, if it had been Glasner, get back into the top 8. But I'm going to change that once the window's closed and probably say top 6. Get out of the group stage of the Champions League. Really, really go gung-ho for the FA Cup, just because that cup has never lost its magic for me, ever. And that cup needs to come back to Tottenham Hotspur. It's been way too long. That was our cup, and we need to get our hands on it again. And I think the Carabao Cup will be the one where let's see where we go with it. Because, like we said, we've got to remember Thomas Frank is coming in, and he will be dealing with Europe, and not just any European competition, the European competition. The players are going to have to play 2 games a week. The manager is going to have to get used to it. So that's where I see progression. Obviously, it won't be the trophy that we all want that Ange delivered. Ange did it in season 2. Let Frank build this season, and season 2 we go again. But I think I'll be changing top 8 to top 6 very, very shortly, as in my prediction.
Well, first competitive game anyway, PSG in the Super Cup. Then we play Burnley at home in the first Premier League game, Man City away in the second. So he's straight into the deep end.
Well, do you know what, Ben? I used it on my channel today because I was watching. When I woke up, I watched the fixture list thing, but I just thought, I'm not watching Sky. I'll just listen to you speak Spurs all day. And when you said the first 3 games with Frank's different, we've got 3 different styles of play in those 3 games, haven't we? We're going to have a low block from Burnley. Yeah. We're going to have the high possession from City and high press from Bournemouth. And you're absolutely bang on. We're going to have to see 3 ways that Frank is going to have to encounter and try and navigate away of 3 different styles of play, and we're going to see it straight away.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm buzzing to get going. I can't wait for the first game of pre-season, which I think is Luton at Kenilworth Road, and I just want to see Spurs back out on that pitch again. And I think, if you weren't on board with Frank after watching that interview, surely you're on board now.
Yep.
Yeah, that just grabbed me in even more.
I wonder if how many people we've got in the chat. I wonder how many people were kind of on the fence and didn't know what to expect before, but now are like, yeah, do you know what? I'm all in here. I wonder if that interview has made a lot of people change their opinions on what we've got.
Well, let us know in the chat.